Okay, well, this handsome guy is a great horned owl, and I bet some of you have heard great horned owls. They go, whoo, 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 whoo. Let's all try that. And then maybe back in the woods you might hear a higher one. Go ahead. And then maybe the lower one would answer back. Go ahead. Okay.
This little owl, he's still growing. He's only 6 months old. He hatched in March, and he was down in a nest in Rhode Island, and he fell out of his nest, and he broke his wing. Someone found him on the ground, unable to fly. They brought him to a rehab center in Rhode Island, and they worked with him for over a month, and that wing just isn't going to heal enough for him to fly. So his right wing, left wing doesn't extend. You can see when Marcia rolls her arm, the bird can't extend his left wing. He is non-flighted, so he gets a handicap ramp like the barred owl, and he'll probably gain a little more weight, but he won't get any bigger in a wingspan. And he's still getting used to this crazy thing we do, but he's doing a good job. He's a really nice-looking great horned owl, a male, and he's a little on the small side. A big female might go 5.5 pounds. Right now he weighs just under 3.
Right, but we don't know why he fell out of the nest. Sometimes great horned owls have 3 young instead of just 2.
I think his sister pushed him out. But it could have been the wind, or he could have just lost his footing and slipped.
Or he might have been the last egg to hatch, so maybe he wasn't getting enough food, and maybe he fell out of the nest. But we're very lucky to have him.
So if you look at his back, I know it's a little hard for some of you to see, but what do you think his back would blend in with in the forest? Trees. What part of the tree? The bark. Now here's the million-dollar question. What kind of tree bark closely matches his back? What do you think? Oak tree? That gets an A. I'm looking for an A+ answer. Oak is good, but there's an even better one. What do you think? Spruce? I give that an A+. What's another conifer tree besides spruce?
How about this big tree right here?
Yeah, what's that tree right there? Pine tree, a white pine tree. And that's often where you'll see great horned owls sleeping, up next to the trunk, up high. And if a red-tailed hawk built a nest in that pine tree, the following spring, or winter actually, a great horned owl might move in and lay its eggs in that nest. They'd lay their eggs in February. They're the first bird to nest in Chelmsford. Imagine this, middle of February, she lays eggs. She might have 2 feet of snow on her back after a blizzard, but she won't leave those eggs uncovered. The male will bring food in and deliver it to her while she incubates the eggs. So this is a male, and a female would look quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, we have 2 other great horned owls. One of them was actually accidentally poisoned, was found down on the ground starving, and had a broken right wing.
Broken right wing, yeah.
Right wing. Go ahead.
Okay, and I don't know where you were going with that.
It dropped out.
I know, but I can't read your mind. What were you going to say?
No?
She thinks I can, but I can't.
And so somebody rescued him and brought him to a rehab center, and they realized after they did some blood work that his whole system was flooded with rat poison or mouse poison.
That wasn't this one, though. That was our other
Right.
great horned at home.
Right.
And yeah, it's often fatal for these birds, a long, slow, torturous death if they ingest
So
rodenticides.
he was starving, and he would have died if somebody hadn't rescued him.
So this is often called the tiger of the forest. They can take down larger animals like skunks, woodchucks, small dog, small cat, as well as gray squirrels, ducks, pigeons, smaller owls. I found a pellet from a great horned owl that had fish scales in it. So they eat fish, obviously. And they can also take, a variety of other things like frogs and salamanders and worms and whatever is available, they'll take. Probably even insects. I know they will eat snakes, too. All right. Any questions on the way back? Yes. Can you say it again really loud? Where do we keep them? Where do we keep these owls? They live with us in their backyard, in our backyard. We have a fenced backyard, and I built individual cages for all of them. So most of them don't live with other owls. They live singly, although the two screech owls that you met live together. They get along. They're both females, and we're able to keep them together. But if we put another owl with the great horn, they probably wouldn't get along. So most of them have their own cage in our backyard.
Right. And great horned owls can live a long time, both in the wild and in captivity. My mom used to do live owl programs with other live birds when I was growing up. She did wildlife rehab. And she and my dad took care of a great horned owl that lived to be 43 and a half years old.
So what Marsha's not telling you is that she was raised by owls. She's the best hooter I know, but I got to be careful with that word because a certain restaurant chain ruined its use. We got to be careful when we say about hooter. But anyway, this last owl doesn't really occur here in Chelmsford until usually early November. And even then it would be a rare bird in Chelmsford. You'd see more of them at the coast. They come down from the Arctic. It's the snowy owl. And most of the birds that come into Massachusetts in November and December are younger birds, so they're heavily marked usually. They're quite dark. And
because there's so many of us here, please do not scream when he flaps his wings, okay? Promise?
he will jump off the hand a couple times. Just he's high strung.
Do not scream.
So don't scream, because if you do, it'll freak him out.
He can't get away.
And you may see some feathers blow off. He's still molting. This is Harry Potter's cousin, his owl's cousin. This is Hedwig's cousin. And the snowy owl is just probably the most recognizable owl in the world. Absolutely iconic. This is a male. How old is he, Marcia?
He's 5.5.
And if you're lucky enough to get up to the Arctic in the summer, either northern Canada, northern Alaska, northern Russia, you might hear the hooting of a snowy owl that goes like...
Try that.
And in the winter, they don't usually hoot. They're pretty quiet, although if a peregrine falcon came in on the beach and was harassing him, you might hear him go, kind of like complaining about it with the peregrine. A friend of ours, Norman Smith, who worked as director at Trailside Museum in Milton, he's the guy that goes to Logan Airport every winter and live traps the snowy owls that show up there. And some winters they get a lot of them, and that's not good for airports because, first of all, if they hit a jet, it's going to kill the snowy owl. And worse yet, if the jet ingests the snowy owl into its engines, it could bring down the plane. We all remember what happened on the Hudson River when that jet hit geese. It landed in the river. Luckily, nobody died. But so Norman traps these owls, live traps them at Logan, and moves them either to Plum Island or Duxbury Beach, where he releases them. And one winter, about, 2014-15, he trapped 121 snowy owls at Logan Airport. And in addition, he trapped 40 more outside of the airport. So he had over 160 owls that he live trapped that winter and banded with a numbered bracelet. And he also has seen a snowy owl take down a great blue heron in flight, which is a bird that stands about 3.5 feet tall. And he has a picture of a big female snowy owl eating another snowy owl at Logan Airport. So if you go fly out of Logan, get a window seat in the winter, and you might see an owl sitting on one of the structures around the runways.
Hey, Mark, we have a couple of patient questions back here.
Yes, in the green shirt.
Green shirt.
Nice and loud. Okay, let's be quiet so I can hear his question, please. Will an owl drive another bird out of a tree? Is that the question? Well, owls, when they're hunting, will drive a bird out if the bird sees it coming. And they can sometimes, a snowy owl can chase down a duck in flight and get it. And they can fly probably 60 miles an hour or more. So it's our fastest owl. Yes.
Young lady back there. Go ahead.
How do you tell the difference between a boy and a girl? That's tricky with snowy owls. It's very tricky. If you see a pure white snowy owl, it's probably a male. If you see a very dark snowy owl with lots of barring, it's probably a female. But in between, you get some of these owls that they're not too dark, they're not too light, they're kind of in the middle. That's where it gets very tricky to tell if it's a male or a female. There is a way to do it scientifically. You know, if you see the wing of an outstretched owl, they have primary feathers. The finger-like feathers are called primaries. And then there's a row of feathers called secondaries next on the wing. And the fourth secondary feather, if it's unmarked, it's a male. If it has bars or dark markings that touch the center part of the feather, that's a female. But to see that secondary feather, you have to see the bird in flight, and you maybe want to get a high-speed picture of it to analyze it. So to answer your question, it's tricky a lot of the time to tell if it's a male or female. It's pretty tricky. It's not cut and dry. Yes? What is the attraction at the airport? Well, I don't think it's the food. Actually, it is the food for outside the airport. There's lots of ducks and gulls that they're feeding on in the harbor, and then rats. And then Norman has a list of things they've eaten. It's over 120 species of animals that they've eaten, that he's seen. They've even been seen taking mussels that have washed up on the beach. They can take fish. He's seen them take cats, short-eared owls, barred owls, barn owls, and then geese. They can take down brant, geese, eiders, gulls. They eat a lot of different things. But in the summer, when they're up in the Arctic on their northern nesting grounds, they eat mostly rodents called lemmings. Yeah, lemmings. And they're kind of like a big hamster. That's what they look like. And when there's lots of lemmings, these guys nest. And when lemmings are scarce, these guys won't nest. So year to year, it all depends on how many lemmings are in the area, whether they're going to nest or not.
Now, think about it. In nature, would a snowy owl ever see a penguin?
Noah's right. Who wants to say why Noah's correct? Why wouldn't a snowy owl see a penguin? Penguins are south of the equator, right? Some of them are as far north as the equator in Ecuador in the Galapagos Islands, but you're right, some of them are in Antarctica. They don't make it to the exact South Pole, but they're on the coast of Antarctica. And
would a snowy owl ever see a polar bear?
No.
Because they're both in the Arctic,
Where do
right?
polar bears live?
The far
Northern
north, yeah.
hemisphere, right.
Yeah, so you won't see snowy owls at the North Pole. The North Pole is just a point on the globe in the middle of the ocean. There's no land at the North Pole. So they will sit on sea ice when they're hunting ducks, but when they go to nest, they have to do it on land. They can't nest on ice like a penguin can.
Now, like the screech owls that hatched in captivity, this owl also hatched in captivity at a wildlife park overseas, and we had to import him, and we got him when he was a couple of months old. So in his mind, he doesn't know how to be a wild snowy owl. We call that imprinting. He's imprinted on people.
Okay. Question over there in the Chelmsford shirt. Can you adopt a snowy owl without being a professional? Well, you have to use the bird for education, and you would have to have federal permits to get the bird, and you'd have to build a cage that meets federal guidelines. You would have to be at least 18 years old.
And state permits.
And so there's a lot that goes into it, and you would have to train with someone before you got your education bird. And this snowy owl was not hatched in the U.S. He had to be imported from another country because very few people breed them in the U.S. So there's a lot that goes into it. The best way for you to get experience is to volunteer with a wildlife rehabilitator, where you get to learn how to handle birds and how to care for them. And then as you get older, you could maybe get into it and have birds of prey.
Yeah, you can't have an owl as a pet. In fact, in this country, you can't have any wild animal or bird without a license.
Okay, another question right there in the blue dress. This owl reminds you of Harry Potter's owl? What's his name? Hedwig. Yeah, they're the same type of owl. He looks a lot like Hedwig for sure.
Yep.
I think Hedwig in the movie was 3 different snowy owls. They had like extras that they could rotate. Yes. They are warm. They are panting. Good eye. Yep. He looks like he's smiling, but he's actually hot.
Mark, sorry. Why don't we take 2 more questions?
Okay.
Because we're just about out of time.
And right there, nice and loud. Go ahead. What's your question? I think he's kind of like stage struck here. All right. Pack 107. Did he say it? Owls are soft. Yes. Good observation. Okay, Cub Scout Pack 107. What's your question? How can he be what? Did you hear what he said? How can they live down here? Well, they're only here in the winter. In the summer, they're not here when it's hot. Why is he here? Because he's can't be released to the wild. So we give him a big bowl of cold ice water in his cage, and he drinks ice water when it's really hot, and we run a fan if it's super hot, and he doesn't go out and do programs in July and August when it's really hot.
But we thought it would be cool enough today, which it is, that he's not uncomfortable.
He's only mildly stressed. He's not super panting super hard.
And we really want to thank all of you for coming out today, and especially thank the Chelmsford Land Conservation Trust and all of the hard work that they do. They do have a donation box in the back on that table.
Collect the books.
Okay, and if any of you that have display copies of Mark's book could hand them forward, we can take them for you. And we have lots of the books for sale. They're $20.
And all proceeds go to the Mouse Fund. I think we have a couple more back here. Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Hello and welcome back to the Chelmsford News Show. I'm Tom Christiano. I'm here with my good friend Lisa Bougoulas, the co-owner with her husband of Maxwells in South Chelmsford. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks. We're going to talk about the farmers market that's coming up, the winter farmers market beginning in the first Saturday of November, Lisa?
Right, November 6th, 10 to 2.
10 to 2. So Lisa and I have done a number of shows together, and this will be another one. We've done shows with the little chicks. Remember those? Those were great.
Yep.
Little chickens that she has. You're going to get them for this year?
Every
Lisa?
spring I order them.
That's amazing.
Yep.
How long have you owned this place, by the way? Now it's like 10
10
years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, a long
Actually,
time.
11. Sorry, 11 and a half.
Wow, time
Yeah.
is flying by. So we'll talk a little bit about the farmers market, but before we do it, I thought people might be interested knowing that you have the name Maxwells now. How long has it been Maxwells about?
About 2.5 years.
About
Back
2.5
in like
years?
the spring of 2019, we changed the name from Chelmsford Agway to Maxwells.
And you have that new design, that logo, and a big sign out front that you helped design, right? And you see the pickup truck there, and the little dog in the passenger seat. You have two beautiful
Two dogs. The dog in the front is Maxwell. That's the store is actually named after a dog. And then our other dog, Molly's in the back of the truck.
And they're King Charles Spaniels or something?
Yeah, Cavalier King Charles.
Cavalier King Charles. They're beautiful dogs. Remember I had a photo taking at the Historical Society Farm Fair with your dog, and I had
That's
it my
right.
logo for a long time.
That's right.
I was
remember
holding,
that. Yeah.
I think it was Max.
holding Max,
Maxwell.
yeah.
Maximus might be his official name, right? Or
Yeah.
something, but which is a nice Latin Roman Empire
yes.
time. Anyway. Maximus or whatever. So Lisa, so the farmers market's coming up on November, what, 6th or something?
Yep.
And what are the hours, Lisa?
10 to 2. It's back to 4 hours. Last year we had shortened hours because of COVID, so we had 3 hours instead of 4. This year we're back to 4 hours. I know a lot of people weren't too happy. I had a few people message me and go, I work till 1, I can't get over there in time, and now they can.
Good, yeah, 10 to 2 will be great. So that's coming up very shortly. And I might stop by too to say hello to Lisa, my good friend, and see the vendors.
That would be nice.
And masks are optional this year,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're encouraging people to wear masks, but obviously it's not required here in Chelmsford. So, but, you know, to be on the safe side, and we'll make sure people aren't too close and social distancing, and we'll make sure it doesn't get too crowded. Otherwise, we'll start a little line outside, and it's never bad. And if, you know, while you're waiting in line, there's going to be an empanada food truck out there, a whoopie pie food truck, and the coffee truck, Muddy Waters, is back. So he's bringing his, he won't be inside, he'll be outside with
Wonderful.
his coffee truck, and that way you could get hot coffee, all different kinds, lattes, anything you want, and he'll be selling coffee by the bag, the beans.
He does well too, doesn't
Yeah.
he? It's called what, Muddy Waters?
Yeah, Muddy Water
Company.
Coffee.
And I said that he used to be insider, selling
Yeah.
a lot of the coffee by the pound,
Yep.
and then a lot of people would buy the individual coffee. They would pour it on top of the
pour
grounds
over.
or whatever.
Yep.
And there was a woman, I think she's now going to college in Vermont or something. She was so nice.
Carly.
Carly, yeah, she
Yes.
was great. I wish she'd come back, but she's probably in college this year.
Yeah.
But so he is going to have a truck out there this year,
Yep,
which
he'll
is
have
nice.
his food truck here, yep.
And Empanada Dada has done great for many years.
Oh, yeah.
And now he has
big
a food
following.
truck.
Yeah,
And he always does great.
he does.
You know what? I'm surprised that the whoopie pie place has enough business to have a truck.
Oh, they have more than one truck. They have multiple trucks. They go all over the place. If you ever follow them on like Instagram or Facebook, they're everywhere.
Do they sell things other than whoopie pies? Or you don't know?
They have cookies too, but
cookies,
the whoopie pies, it's everything you could imagine. They have a s'mores one, like a carrot cake one. They have like a regular, like one they call a Boston bean. They have a cookie one. They have like a million different kinds of whoopie pies.
Wow.
And a lot of times, actually, a lot of the popular ones, they sell out. So on Maxwells of Chelmsford website, I have a pre-order page, and a lot of people pre-order, and when they come, they could just pick them up. Just go to the truck, and they're already paid for and done, and you just pick them up, and that way they don't run out, and you don't not get what you came for.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I get your emails, as you know, I'm one of the few people that probably gets back to Lisa. Say, oh, Lisa, the photo looks great of Maximus this week, or I like the caption, or look at all the vendors. So if people want to get on your email list, who would they write to? You have an email address that you could give them?
Yeah, you could just go on our website, Maxwells of Chelmsford, and right at the bottom of the page, it's sign up. On every page, it's sign up for our newsletter.
Okay, so Maxwell's of Chelmsford.
Yep.
They could go there and then sign up. You get these nice emails, and it'll tell you all the vendors are coming that particular week. Also, if things are on sale, Lisa will let you know.
Yep.
I bought some bird seed here a little
That's right.
while ago.
Big sale.
My cats love it, but especially my new cat, Chrissy. I have the bird feeder outside the window.
Yeah.
And he jumps on top of the window like my cat 20 years ago used to do. And I gotta get a picture of it. So he jumps on the middle of the window like, ah, and scares the birds away, but then they come back.
Yeah, they always come back.
Yeah, but he's something. So you have a cat at home too and a cat here, right?
2 cats at home, and then the store cat here, Fluffy.
Fluffy's so
Everybody loves-
great.
yeah, everyone loves her.
How old is she now? Well,
I
she's
guess
getting up there,
around
like
15 maybe. She's old.
15, wow. Yeah, she's so nice. I came here to buy the birdseed a couple of weeks ago, and she was outside. She let me pet her. She's a beautiful long hair,
Very friendly.
like a tan-colored, beautiful cat.
Yeah, almost looks like a Maine Coon cat.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So the vendors, so we have some new vendors this year, Lisa?
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
who might be new?
Actually, this year, Jones Farm will not be coming back because they're retiring from all of that, and so they won't be returning. So I have another farm called North of Boston coming, and it sounds like they'll be great. They've been up at the Lowell market all year, so a lot of people around here, when I put up on the Facebook page they're coming, a lot of people were really happy. They have really fresh vegetables and fruit, so I'm looking forward to having them.
Nice. So they'll be in the center
In
where
the
Jones
center.
used to be?
Right, exactly.
Nice.
And then my meat vendor, he's not doing that anymore. So I have a new one, Lilac Hedge Farm, which looks fabulous, and they have all sorts of meats, and they'll have eggs, and they have they make their own sausages. Oh, I tried some of them, delicious, like garlic and cheese, and all sorts of really good ones. So they're going to be great. I'm excited about them. Another new one is Valicenti Pasta Farm, and they have their homemade sauces, they homemade pasta. just really excited to have them.
Wow,
come.
that's new. That's nice. Well,
Yeah.
all those are new, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
Any other new ones that you could think of?
Grizzly Ventures, they're like spice rubs and brines and
nice.
things like that. And
Nice. And I imagine that people who sell the fish are coming back.
right,
Cheryl?
Seafood Express, yep, Cheryl and Matt, they'll be back.
And Matt, that's nice.
Yeah.
They always are over here.
They're in the corner,
There's-
yep, they have quite the following.
We're in the area, by the way, where the farmers market takes place, which is, I would call it like a greenhouse room.
Yep.
You know, it has nice overhead lighting. That's why we're in here. And you can see the Maxwells. This is a tote bag.
Yeah.
Do you sell those here, Lisa? Or?
No, that was just when we opened up.
Oh, well, I'm glad I brought it. You see, I kept mine all the
We did,
couple of
since
years now.
2019.
Wow. Yeah, so this is where we're taping here. So you could come in, and the location, if you know where Byam School is.
Right.
In fact, a lot of us, including myself, we park in the long roadway towards Byam School because
Towards-
it's on
yep.
a Saturday and the school isn't in session. So I
Yep.
park there to make sure nobody nicks my doors. And then I walk over. I don't care how long it is. I'm not going to park in a crowded parking lot because you know me, right?
Yep.
I don't
With
want
your
anybody
cars.
damaging my cars.
That's right.
So, any other new vendors that you could think of, Lisa?
Mimi Dumplings, she'll be starting. So they
Oh.
make fresh dumplings. It's
Oh
a
my
woman-owned
God.
company, and
Oh,
so I'm pretty
that's
excited
nice.
to have them.
You know what's great? You help so many small businesses. People are either starting a business or they had one, and that's what they love, so they're trying to make a living that
Right.
way. And it's so hard. I mean, I've had many small businesses, even though I'm a young person. I've had many throughout my life. And believe me, that's how I know how difficult it is. You know, even one customer buying something, you're so appreciative.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, even a couple of my vendors, Empanada Dada, his first ever selling gig was here. He used to be Cuesta Fiesta.
Oh, that's right.
With
yeah.
his mom, remember that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now here he's got such a great following that people will call the store just to make sure the food truck's there.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of times people come up. What do they call those little things? He like fries them up.
Empanadas.
Empanadas.
Yep.
And there's like 3 or 6 for $10 or something
Yeah.
like that or whatever.
Yeah, they're delicious.
And so he sells a lot of that and some other thing. But he's like a professional chef, isn't he? What's his name? Bob Cuesta or something
Yeah,
is
Bob
his
Cuesta.
name. Bob, if you see this, remember I said your name. Yeah, he's a nice guy. They're all so friendly, everybody's
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Like, so I'll probably be coming by to say hello to my good friend Lisa. And she's hoping a lot of people turn out this year because it's no fun if you have a party and nobody comes.
That's right. And all these vendors, they kind of had a tough time during COVID. And it's just nice to support all these local farms, small businesses. And since they had such a tough year the last year and a half, it'd be nice, to have people come shop and support them.
Yes, please support them and support our wonderful local small business, Maxwells, with my friend Lisa and her husband Manny. They're great people. They have a great family with wonderful children and wonderful workers here too, like
Oh, yeah.
Paige and
We're
all
lucky.
the other ones.
Yep.
They work so hard. So Lisa, just a quick reminder, the first farmer's market is what, November 6th?
November 6th, 10 to 2.
10 to 2. And right here in South Chelmsford, it's on, do you know the address of
20, yeah, I do know the address of my store. 24 Maple Road.
24 Maple Road. So please stop by. It's near, as I said, the school over there, Byam School. You can park in the driveway there. So thank you so much for talking with us, Lisa. This is another show in the books for us.
I know, a lot.
Thank you, and thank you at home for watching. I'm Tom Christiano. Ciao.